Building speed and building articulation between the hands happens in two places. Your right hand and your left hand. And if your right hand doesn't know what your left hand is doing and your left hand doesn't know what your right hand is doing, then obviously it's going to fall apart. It's one of the reasons that you need to practice hands in isolation. So if we're practicing alternate picking, then one thing you want to do is you want to mute with this hand, right? And just practice going down, up, down, inside picking, outside picking, between two strings, between all the strings, just all kinds of different things. Like we could start with the 6th string and just go down, up, down, down, right? Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, right? Just like that. Just, we're not James Hetfield here. We're not going to do all downstrokes. Stuff like this really helps. One of the things that we need to do is understand that the pick doesn't need to be exactly perpendicular to the body of the guitar. It's weird, and it's one of those nuanced type things. It's like an idiosyncrasy that you have to develop to where when you're playing a down pick, you're kind of angling it back towards you. When you're playing an up pick, you're kind of angling it back or down towards the ground. So your hand moves. I watched a guitar teacher of mine one time and noticed it wasn't so much his wrist was moving, it wasn't so much his elbow was moving or his arm was moving, it was his fingers. And I just thought that was so cool because he didn't even realize he was doing it. Like I had to point it out to him, and he says, okay, I didn't know I was doing that. So there's nuance there. There's angling. Like we're not having to move my wrist so much to angle it back and forth, like towards me, towards the ground, towards me, towards the ground. Like it's almost like it's in the fingers. And Troy Grady, he's got a really cool channel where he has guitarists, like really famous guitarists, put the little orange thing on their fretboard that has the camera mount, and it angles down and it watches their hands, and he really does a really good job of researching their hand motion and what they're actually doing. And he puts like a high-speed camera on, he slows things down so we can see what they're doing. But everybody's going to be different. Everybody's going to be different. Like hand technique is something that is extremely unique to the player. So you just have to experiment with that. So how can you get faster? If I was just doing like just that one string and I just was muting, it falls apart when I get a little bit faster. And you can't, that's another thing, you can't be conscious of it. It's got to be in your subconscious. It's got to be in your muscle memory, because once you start thinking about it, it's going to fall apart. It's like when metal players, and I do some songs like this every now and then, but the whole triplets there or can't even do it. When they build songs like that, or stuff like that, those kind of rhythms require that. And you really have to think in terms of getting that locked in really good. And then you want to be able to go from one string to the next string. So maybe 3 here, and then 3 here, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All outside picking like that, right? From the 6th string to the 5th string. And into the 4th string. And then to the 3rd. And just getting that right. Now, left hand, right? Left hand, if we take a shape, like let's say I take the shape that I've shown in a few previous videos, where I was playing 6th string, 4, 5, 7, 4th or 5th string 4, 5, 7, and then 4, 6, 7 on the 4th and the 3rd strings. So this shape right here. And we're not going to worry about the 2nd and the 1st strings right now. Let's just focus on those 4. And being able to legato, or not legato, but hammer-ons and pull-offs with it. And that's my weakness. I got a weakness there. That's something I really need to work on. But just hammer-ons and pull-offs. So just, excuse me, one string at a time. second string. So you start noticing weaknesses. Add the next string. But you notice weaknesses when you start isolating things. Because this, you know, I'm relying on this hand to get that articulation. But I lose it. And I got to learn what my fingers really need to be doing. And that's going to make my playing even better. So there's a lot of pull-offs there. It's not just tapping and pulling off. It's actually flicking it. A lot of extra noise. Got a palm mute. A lot of players do this. I also notice a lot of tension in my hand when I'm doing that because it's not in my muscle memory, so my brain is on overload thinking about what I'm doing. Okay, I need to make sure every time I hit a string, I flick it with my pinky, which is kind of hard, right? Flick it with my pinky, flick it, like all that little extra motion there. It's not easy. So once you get both of those kind of locked in, it increases the amount of technique that you can do, which I think is really cool because once you got more technique that you can start adding to your bag of tricks, then it allows you to do all kinds of stuff. That's where throwing in tapping and things like that come into play as well, because once you can start tapping, then that hammer-ons and pull-offs with the left hand, doing those legato techniques, really has to come into play because you're not going to get decent sound if you don't do that. All right, so if you like stuff like this and you want to see more, check out more videos on the channel, of course. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share and all that stuff. But check out my free course over at justpickuptheguitarango.com.